Colleen, you gotta let me stay at your dojo.
No.
But I'm a billionaire, and they've taken my company. I'm Danny Rand.
Not my problem.
But I'm the martial arts master Iron Fist.
Oh, you're Iron Fist. Oh, well, show me.
Well, I can't show you right now, or most of the time for that matter.
Get out.
What's wrong with your finger?
Oh, it's got a splinter.
Me.
I love you.
What's up, all you samurai assassins out there? Fat Samurai Guy here with Lady Fat Blood, and welcome to another episode of The Movie Dojo. Today in the dojo, we are going to review the Marvel TV series Iron Fist. Here's a quick plot synopsis. Danny Rand returns to New York City after being missing for years, trying to reconnect with his past and his family legacy. He fights against the criminal element corrupting his world around him with his incredible kung fu mastery and ability to summon the awesome power of the fiery Iron Fist. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review, so if you're interested in watching the Netflix series, go ahead and stop the video, go watch the series, and come right back.
Well, it looks like it's part of the Marvel series. Looks like it's right in there with the Daredevil and the Jessica Joneses and the Luke Cages. It looks like a Marvel TV series on Netflix.
It's competently shot.
Sure. As is tradition with the Netflix Marvel TV series so far, we are given 13 episodes, and we are given an A story and a B story, which run parallel and simultaneously at times intersect with each other. And I am happy to say that the B story, featuring the Meachams, which were Harold Meacham, the father of Joy, and Ward Meacham, who grew up with Danny when they were all kids, they were fantastic. I was quite riveted to that aspect of the series. I don't know where you get off giving us such a great B series and failing so tremendously on your A series, but hey, you get what you get. The acting by all three of them were really good. It was really nice seeing Claire, played by Rosario Dawson, again.
Yay!
I really enjoy how her character, sometimes she feels a little shoehorned in from time to time, and she is getting very preachy about being the moral compass of all these superheroes, but what I do like about her is she is evolving as a character.
Yeah.
She knows her place in this universe among superheroes, and she feels close to them. She knows she can't be one of them, but she wants to do everything in her power to help them. So she's doing all this studying.
And training.
Yeah, and I find that very interesting to have that thread throughout all of the series so far. So her evolution has been interesting to watch so far.
I enjoyed Jessica Henwick as Colleen Wing, as the character. I thought she did a very solid job. I thought she did a good job. She had the attitude. She was decent and solid with the martial arts sequences. The first time I discovered the character was back in the day. I collected a comic series called Daughters of the Dragon, and it was with Colleen and Misty Knight teamed up together, being a bunch of cool badass bitches, kicking ass, taking names. And that's when I first was introduced to the Colleen Wing badass character. So I kind of like little things that were thrown out through the show. Like, for example, when Colleen Wing's character goes and does the cage fighting, the guy asks her, "Hey, so what's your name? What's your name?" And she says, "Daughter of the Dragon." And I was I got a little smile. I fanboyed a little bit, okay? I fanboyed a little bit. But as much as I enjoyed Jessica as the character, let's be honest here, people, okay? Let's get real right now. Let's be honest here, okay?
We don't want that.
She was fine as the character. She was very solid, okay, in the martial arts sequences, as I said earlier, okay? But she's no, J.J. Yanin, okay? She's no Amy Johnston, okay? Let's not get crazy here, okay? Let's not lose her shit, all right? She wasn't that good. She was very solid. And good enough for the series, but let's just not get, oh, she's so great, we need to give her own series. No. Okay. No. She wasn't that good, okay? I enjoyed her performance again, but let's not get nuts here.
The last 3 episodes were fine. You know, when the A story started to finally pick up, we were introduced to the character of Davos, who was Danny Rand's friend in the monastery. And what I liked about his character was you sympathize with him, and then you sympathize too much with him, actually, if you want to be fair. The show, you're supposed to be following Danny Rand. Should I be getting into this right now?
Well, the bad is next.
All right, let me try to make this as brief as I can. You're supposed to be sympathizing with Danny Rand. And never once was I under the impression that this motherfucker should have been the chosen one and given the Iron Fist. And Davos comes along and keeps saying, yeah, I trained for the Iron Fist the same as everybody else, same as Danny, but the elders chose him.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting here thinking, really, elders?
Well, he blatantly comes out and says they made the wrong decision.
You know, and Davos in action proves that, yeah, maybe he should have been the Iron Fist. Physically, he moved pretty well.
Yeah.
He actually had much more personality. He had a better acting range. Mm-hmm. And when they decided to get off the pot and make the A story more interesting, and he shows up and then Danny fights against that drunken master fighter.
Yeah.
It was brief,
yeah,
but he had quite a bit of a personality there.
Yeah.
Would have been interesting to follow him.
Yeah, the actor that played the drunken master fighter actually tried out for the role of Danny Rand and Iron Fist, and I don't know why he didn't get the part, because he seemed like he had a personality, like she was saying, and he, you know, obviously knew martial arts, so I don't know. And even on the show at some point, it wasn't even that, it didn't even feel that important that he left and ditched Kung Lung. He's supposed to be protecting the damn doors, the gate, the front gate from the hand or other enemies. You know, that's the whole point and purpose of the Iron Fist. You know, coming down a long line of Iron Fists that were chosen in the past. He was the next one chosen, you know. And it didn't really feel that big of an emergency that he left and ditched everyone. It literally felt like he was bored. It felt like he was bored. Even when he's standing up there guarding it in Kung Lung, Davos comes up there and he's like, so, it's almost like he's rubbing it in, you know? He's like, so, you're gonna be standing up here all day, every day, huh? And it looks like he's just bored. And his reason, Danny Rand's reason for leaving, he even says himself, I just felt empty. That's it. That's the only explanation we get.
Danny Rand is an awful character.
Not in the comics.
Okay, let me just preface what I'm about to say with this. No, I'm not a fan of the comics. But I was not a fan of Daredevil either. The only thing I ever knew of Daredevil was the Ben Affleck movie. Alright, which is nothing to go off of. I was not frothing at the mouth when I saw the trailer for Daredevil for the Netflix series. So that means nothing in the grand scheme of things. You take something that I know nothing about and you present to me a good story and I will love it, okay? Season 1 of Daredevil is my favorite thing Netflix and Marvel have done so far, okay? So just, you know, put that under your hat, take it as you will. So not knowing anything about Iron Fist, I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. You know, the track records have been, you know, fairly well so far. So yes, I know nothing about him. And you just told me that he's not an awful character in the comic. So why they chose to give us a whiny, bratty, and quite possibly the most ineffectual Marvel superhero given to us on the small screen and big screen to date.
Yeah.
He barely fights. He does not fight convincingly. He pulls a Spider-Man 2 and loses his powers at one point in the series.
Oh, several times.
That's it.
Well, see, that was the issue we had. Hold that thought. That was the issue we had, was he was already chosen to be the Iron Fist. He's already the Iron Fist. But yet, his training isn't done. Like, he comes over here, he doesn't know how to heal people, he doesn't know how to use his power, he doesn't know how to control his chi because he's angry, because he's got girl problems and family problems.
All right, so you take a character that is written in a very unlikable way.
Hipster, homeless, iron fist.
And you have him portrayed. Oh God, this is gonna sound so awful. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Finn Jones is crap.
Yeah.
I have never seen him in anything other than Game of Thrones, and frankly, I didn't give a shit about his character in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He wasn't a primary character. He wasn't a secondary character.
Yeah.
He was a character that I would literally have to watch a flashback to be reminded of who this character was. Should I see him again in the show? And it doesn't even matter now because I'm pretty sure he's dead now in the show.
He blew up. Sorry, spoilers.
Okay, and again, I hate being so mean because I try not to be too personal when it comes to actors' performances.
Yeah.
But goddamn, he is awful in this.
It's bad.
First of all, you have the thing that kind of gets on my nerves, and I can handle it with Charlie Cox. I have this thing where when I hear a British person or an Australian person trying to affect an American accent, I hear it. I hear them fighting.
She's good at that for some reason.
I hear them fighting their accent, and again, with Charlie Cox, with the way he portrays Matt Murdock, I let a lot slide with his voice and with the way he speaks. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because he emotes what needs to be emoted.
Yeah.
But you've got this character in Danny Rand who's written horribly, portrayed by this sniveling little, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought he was an American pop singer. He has that little range when it comes to what he's trying to emote. And I don't know, maybe that was the whole thing with the producers when they chose this guy. Hey, we need a whiny guy. We don't want to give you guys a likable character. We want to give you a shithead that you have to sit through 13 episodes and listen to him whine his way into some dumb broad's pants for no reason whatsoever. And I thought it was funny that you were the one that was looking at me funny when they started falling in love. And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Like, did I miss a scene? And I'm like, wow, you're right.
Literally.
I was so checked out, I didn't even care.
Yeah, I told her to press pause. And I said, did I miss a scene? That's what I asked her. Because the whole time, the whole show, Colleen's been just annoyed. She's been interested, and she kind of tries to help him out. And, once she realizes that he's a good guy, she tries to help him out. But she's still, serious, has her defense, mechanism on, not opening up too much to strangers, because he's a stranger. And literally, he fixes her finger, and then she's all puppy-eyed. She's all doe-eyed looking at him. And I was like, wait a minute. What? And then you got, Rosario Dawson's character in the back, and she's all like, tee, oh, look at the lovebirds. And I'm just like, what? And none of this shit was convincing. They were not convinced. Their relationship was not convincing.
And it was mostly because of Finn Jones's portrayal. Yeah. Unfortunately, where you were fine with the character of Colleen Wing and Jessica Chadwick, I didn't give a shit. No. I really didn't. I was not blown away by her. I wasn't irritated with the actress's performance, but I was irritated with the way they wrote her. I got really tired of her and her stupid little badass quips when she was in the cage fighting the guys. I got real sick of that shit fast. I can't stand it when anybody does that in movies and
So is that because of physically her skills isn't as good as the best?
No, not necessarily.
If she was convincing, like even more convincing of a badass,
if they had allowed
physically,
her,
would you be okay with that?
If they had allowed her to do a little bit more physically, maybe, I don't know. But as a general rule, I don't like it when they overwrite women to be badasses. I don't enjoy it. Like, I'll give you the example, unfortunately. I have to give you the example with Sigourney Weaver as Ripley and Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor and even Charlize Theron as Furiosa. Their lines, their dialogue, very little do they have these badass one-liners where they're projecting through their words that they're a badass. They're showing you they're a badass through their deeds and their actions. Right. But when you give people these, I'm a badass, ask him if he's okay, shit like that, it does not fly with me, and they did that to her a couple of times.
Right. So the dialogue,
again, it boils down to the dialogue, and so I'm already irritated that they're trying way too hard to make her a badass. I thought it was a really dumb, cliched plot that they gave her where she's been part of the Hand this whole time, but this is a different faction from Gao's Hand, where Gao is flooding the streets with narcotics, and she's kind of like the bad guy of the Hand. You have this other side of the Hand where it's more like a cult, and they don't know that they're the bad guys, but you got the one dude from Transformers 2 that's leading the way, and he's the sensei, and Colleen looks up to him, and you know, you got the whole thing where she knew he was the Iron Fist, and so she brings him, she tries to bring him into the fold, and then they have their stupid little fucking conflict that I didn't give two shits about, that I didn't give a shit about the characters. And again, that's half of the problem that I had with Colleen is like, okay, I didn't really like the way they wrote a lot of her story, but when you pair her up with a dead-faced trout like fucking Danny Rand, who you don't care about, it makes their relationship even more pointless. And they fuck, okay? They are full-on fucking in love, and you're supposed to care when they get back together by the end of this show. You're supposed to be like, yay, they're gonna be together! I have never been so happy.
Big fan of romantic films.
I have never been so happy for the 13th episode of a Marvel series to be over with. I was screaming by the end of episode 8, dear God, how much more of this shit do I have to sit through? So, you know, that was just one of those things. They're just the characters. The characters in the A story. Damn it. Just damn it. Damn it.
And the name of the show was called Iron Fist, not the Marvel Meachum Hour. Okay? But like you said earlier, the Meachums were more interesting. And that's good, but then that's bad too.
The characters of Joy and Ward had more believable sibling chemistry. You believed in their relationship. I read more between the lines with those two in terms of things that weren't necessarily shown to us, but maybe mentioned in brief passing. The way they handled each other, the way they spoke to each other, they acted around each other. I gleaned more from their relationship and their backstory, and I gave more of a shit about them. And even Harold, the dad, I gave more of a shit about everything that was going on in that side of the series.
David was having too much fun playing that character.
It was literally the only thing that kept me going in the show was that B story.
What did you like about Ward?
First of all, Ward shocked the hell out of me.
I wanted to smack him.
First episode.
The first time you see Ward, I wanted to punch him in the face.
You're thinking 30s matinee twirling the mustache villain. You're thinking that's what this fool's gonna turn into. No joke. I really thought that, oh god, this is it. I'm done. We're done with the show. We already got this guy that we don't care about in Danny, and now we've got this, this I'm evil, villain that we have to deal with. And I thought he was gonna be the villain of the show. Turns out, no. He's just this poor little product of his daddy's bullshit. The dad, played by David Wenham, the Australian actor from, lots of different things. Lord of the Rings is the one that I know him from the most. Harold died when Joy and Ward were just barely teenagers. He died of cancer. And the Hand brought him back. And so he has to live in secret, but only Ward and like a handful of Harold's minions know about it, but Joy doesn't know about it this whole time. And you see this physical and this verbal and this mental abuse that Ward is taking for, God knows how many years he's been taking it from his dad. And what I really enjoyed about Harold the most, putting aside David Wenham's goofy little New York accent that he had. I loved how Ward and Joy had no accent, but the dad had like this strong New York accent, which was adorable. What I really enjoyed about his character was how he ended up playing two very distinct characters. He played the first Harold, who had already been resurrected by the Hand. He was living this very secretive lifestyle. But you see flashes of anger, like when the Triads, one of the guys from the Triad gang smacks Joy. They hit her, and he goes, "Which one of you hit my daughter?" He's working with the Hand, obviously.
That was great.
And so he goes undercover as a Hand ninja, and he's like, "Which one of you hit Joy Meacham?" And he kills the guy. And you see these flashes of anger, but for the most part, he's very calm. He's very composed, except when he takes it out on Ward. And at one point, Ward snaps because Harold has had him do like all this crazy shit. And so Ward snaps and he kills Harold.
Sorry, I had to Ward there.
Anyway, so that happens. But but he's been resurrected by the hand once, and so unless you cut the guy's head off, they don't really die.
Right.
And so he comes back, but he comes back like pretty much fully batshit at this point.
He's psycho, man.
He's no longer, he's really, you see him trying to affect this personality of being in control, but he loses his temper so easily, and he's so much more cruel toward, like, verbally. He comes right out and says it, like, Joy, I want you to know, I made the biggest mistake giving all my power to Ward, or whatever the hell he said, but...
Ward, you've been the biggest disappointment ever.
I mean, like, he hides nothing, and I really enjoyed that. He had some really genuine, dark, comedic moments throughout the show.
Characters with layers, interesting characters. In Daredevil, there were interesting characters with layers, with Kingpin and the Punisher.
Oh my God.
And more. There was no fucking layers with Iron Fist. The only layer he had was wine. That was it.
And bratty. And
so you got a whiny character that can't fight. It's just like, oh God, it's useless. Useless Fist. That's what we kept calling him for the rest of the show. Useless Fist.
And I'd like to throw something else out there. When the footage from the double Iron Fist back in 1948.
Oh my God. I screamed. The 15
seconds that you dangled in front of us, you sick bastards, is more interesting than your 13 episode series about ineffectual whiny Fist.
I got a fanboy here.
Fanboy away, absolutely.
I screamed. I was like, oh shit. Because they have this leaked footage that was taken during the war in 1948.
It was after the war.
Yeah, after the war, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And, they come across the gate to Kung Lung accidentally, and a previous Iron Fist shows up, and he's like, no. You guys are getting fucked up. And he wears an outfit, the mask that's similar to the, Iron Fist in the comics a little bit. And he's got both fucking charged Iron Fist. And he's whooping everyone's ass. And I'm like, can we watch that fucking movie? Can we watch that TV series? God. I got so excited. Meanwhile, the fucking Useless Fist can't even fucking at the end. At the end, it was the big finale, the big moment, and they have him, handcuffed. He's like having this big moment, and he's looking into the camera, and all of a sudden, Danny Rand charges up the Iron Fist. He's got his chi back. He's ready, and he breaks out of the handcuffs, and he goes to throw a punch. Gone. Iron Fist just disappears. No power. And I'm just like, I'm not happy. I'm not a happy person right now. Again, the last 3 to 4 episodes in the show was starting to get a little bit more interesting. Not necessarily Danny Rand himself, but the A side, like you were saying, was getting more interesting. As soon as Dojo shows up, things start to pick up. And the show, for me, actually gained a few points a little bit, because when they started to bring in a little bit of the Chinese mysticism from Kung Lung. I mean, I said to her, like, they're not gonna mention the fucking dragon. They're not gonna mention Shao Lao the Undying. Okay, they're not gonna mention that at all. And they mention it. They come out and say it's a dragon. I mean, you see the dragon's eyes, because in the comics, Danny faces the dragon and, absorbs his energy and becomes the Iron Fist. And I didn't think they were gonna mention that at all. I thought there might be a little bit too weird for newcomers, but no, they mention it, so good job. And even the action fight choreography started to get a lot more intense, okay? Nothing mind-blowing, nothing intense or as badass or as violent as something that you would see in the, Daredevil Season 2. But...
Or even Season 1.
Yeah, it's true, or even Season 1, but you can tell, I mean, from different camera angles that were starting to show, things were looking a lot better. They were getting a lot more creative. We had multiple attackers. Danny and Davos was defending themselves, We got some sword fighting in the rain. Stuff started to pick up a little bit. So I have to applaud all of the hard-working stuntmen and women, all of the real martial artists that worked on the series. I mean, you could tell they definitely, worked their butts off. I mean, they get an A for effort, so I don't want to downplay them. It's not their fault that it took forever for something interesting to happen.
And I just want to say, before anybody starts ragging on me for, well, you just don't like Danny because he's not a good, perfect character. No, every once in a while, I will go back to Daredevil. I have Daredevil on quite frequently, either when I'm painting or I'm cleaning the house or whatever. And one of the interesting things that I find whenever I watch Daredevil is how horrible Matt Murdock can be sometimes. He is an awful friend. Like, he does things so callously without even really stopping to consider the consequences he could have for the people around him. And he can be very stubborn, he can be very selfish, but at the end of the day, you do tend to sympathize with him a little bit in how he clearly cares about the people that he sometimes is kind of a dick to. And so it's not that Danny wasn't a perfectly written character, a perfectly good guy in, you know, a black and white sort of way.
He was nothing.
He really wasn't. And what I really loved about Matt Murdock was by the second season, he was starting to kind of embrace his dark side, and he was starting to admit that, yeah, I do kind of like hurting people. He even
Characters with layers.
He admitted it a little bit in the first season. Danny, I never really found his stride. And, you know, I don't know if this could have been improved with a better actor, but I do feel that I would have had a little bit easier of a time watching it if another actor had been able to have brought their own take on what was going on with this character instead of just whiny man.
Just give us emotion, man. Like, something. Even when he tried to get pissed off, when he tried to get intense, I just didn't buy it.
Every time he spewed philosophy, it was just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
I just didn't buy it.
You sound foolish.
Even when he was doing his stupid little katas, it was cringe, man. His stunt double was badass, though. So do you recommend this show for Marvel fans or for newbies?
Okay, this has been my opinion. This has been growing in my head for a while now. I will never recommend anything to anybody ever again, because overhype and overkill can make or break a film. If I overhype something to you, you are going to go in with the expectation of, oh, well, this had better be the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then you're going to come out of it disappointed. I could overkill it, and you could go in with an open mind and say, you know what, you're full of shit. It wasn't even that bad. As always, I am going to say, unless something is absolute utter gutter trash, like
everything.
Well, what's a movie that's like utter gutter trash that we've given like a 1? Like Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies? I don't know. Unless it is like absolutely irredeemable, I am never gonna say don't see it, okay? This is one of those shows where I think you have to kind of go in and just make up your own mind.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to glean something from this. As much as I was disinterested in the series as a whole, I don't give a shit about the second season. All the cliffhangers that they set up, Kung Lung is basically destroyed. It's gone.
Yeah.
Kung Lung is gone, okay? That was the cliffhanger.
Because somebody wasn't guarding it.
So that was the huge cliffhanger at the end of this.
I have to admit, I actually liked it.
That's
I
fine.
liked the cliffhanger.
And that's fine.
I was hoping Kung Lung got fucked up because this asshole wasn't.
Yeah, this motherfucker needs some consequences in his fucking life. But anyway, aside from that, I personally have no interest in the season 2. If I go into it, it's going to be because of the fucking Meachums, because now we've got the Hand. No, Davos. It's Davos. He's the one that's fucking with Joy now. But the Hand is still out there. Madame Gao is still alive. You know, God only knows what she's got plotting. The Transformer 2 sensei guy, he disappeared. Bakuto, he disappeared. We don't know if he's still alive or not. They could have resurrected him, or he could already have been a resurrection. We don't know. So all of that is perfectly fine, but am I chomping at the bit for a season 2? No. Do I think that this character could single-handedly ruin the Defenders? I think it's possible. Because if you go in with the mindset that I was under the impression that Iron Fist and Luke Cage were kind of like somewhat of a, at least, they had a camaraderie.
Yeah, heroes for hire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I have not seen the actor from Luke Cage play anything else, but I find him to be very stoic in Luke Cage. And in order to have the heavy stoic play off of the comedic, bantering, kind of irritating but kind of fun character, you need an actor with charisma. You need a character with personality. We have neither in Danny Rand and in Finn Jones. So I don't know what the fuck they're going to be doing with Finn in this Defenders show. they're going to have to really step it up with the other three. And if Punisher's in it, thank God we might get something out of it. But I'm just saying, I think he's going to seriously bring down what we could potentially have in the Defenders. But that's just
I saw a screenshot, or at least an advertisement for the Defenders, and he's still fucking homeless hipster Iron Fist. And he's still not even in his outfit.
And again, that was another thing. I know I'm supposed to be doing the wrap up, but I personally felt, again, my opinion alone, Finn Jones was outclassed in every aspect.
Oh yeah.
He was outacted by everybody around him.
Well, he's miscast.
Every single character that easily could have played the character of Danny Rand out charisma'd him. Mm-hmm. They outperformed him in every single conceivable way, which is very unfortunate considering Marvel's track record so far. As much as I did not like Jessica Jones as a character, I had no problem with the actress's portrayal of her. Mm-hmm. I thought she was perfectly fine. But again, this is one of those things you have to go in with an open mind, expect nothing. Make up your own mind on this.
Yeah.
Personally, again, this is all me. If the Meacham story had not been in this series, I would not give this any more than a 2, and I would struggle to give it a 2. But because of the Meacham's B story and how good all of those actors were and how good that story was and how much it kept me interested, I'm going for a 3, and I still feel like that's being generous. But again, that's just me.
I have a good feeling that the Defenders, will he be the weakest link? It's possible, but I still think with everyone involved, I think the Defenders still will probably be a lot more entertaining series than Iron Fist, at least. It'll be better than Iron Fist, okay, hopefully. But I got a good vibe that Defenders will be fine. So to me, is the show great? No. Is it as bad as Rotten Tomatoes is? I think it's like a 17%. No, it's not that. It's not that bad, people. Okay.
Well, we all know why.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going a little nuts out there, but that's not for us to say.
Yeah. So it's not as bad, but it's not as great. It could have been great. I mean, when I think of Iron Fist, it's just, man, kung fu, martial arts, badassity, comes to mind, and there was none of that in here. Maybe with some of the stuntmen and the stunt doubles, they tried. They really did try. But I still have to recommend it to people to watch, despite all the flaws I had with the show. I still have to recommend it because you don't want to be lost when you come across the Defenders. So I give Iron Fist Season 1 3.3 out of 5 ninja stars. That's it for today's episode of The Movie Dojo. Let us know in the comments below what you guys thought of Iron Fist. And we'd like to thank all you guys for watching. You guys rock. We see you guys next time.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.